Hi everybody, Litsoc, it's Thursday. Remember, I'm not talking just to you, but I'm talking to the camera as well. And today we are looking at what the two texts that prompted this session. Basically, Normal Women in both its versions by Philippa Gregory, who is a great writer for women, and
Flesh by David Szalay, which we have talked about before, because what did it win? Correct, yes.
Yes, absolutely, and a lot of chat in the media about it. Who can tell me what Philippa Gregory's also written?
The Other Berlin Girl.
The Other Berlin Girl. Anybody read any Philippa Gregory here? Esther, have you read any?
I haven't, but I was just discussing it in my English lesson.
Oh, right, okay. That's interesting. Why?
Because Lucy was reading it.
Okay. Philippa Gregory she's a writer of historical fiction, but she's also a very gifted historian. So there's loads of history in these. Well, let's put it in this tome anyway. And this tome, 900 years of making history. Okay, so this is about normal women, but other women are mentioned as well. So what does she mean by normal women? Do you think, Stella?
Women considered socially acceptable?
Yes, but also unsocially acceptable to women too. What does she mean? Is there a divide between women, Lucy?
Could it mean like women who aren't rich?
Yes, yeah. Just ordinary, everyday women. Probably held down jobs, probably had children. Almost, I suppose, from a lot of our history, 90% were married. Or because to be single was very, very difficult unless you went into a monastery or a nunnery until after Reformation. If you were Catholic, after that was a really good idea if you left the country and had your full Catholic life elsewhere. Anyway, okay. So, do you think this includes queens, rich people? Well, it does actually, because of course they're women too. Yeah. They might have had massively been incredibly well educated, but they had all the issues that other women have as well, like maybe running the country. Can you name some of our queens?
Elizabeth,
Mary,
Anne,
Victoria, Anne,
Yeah.
Mary.
Mary. Yeah, absolutely. We've had two Marys, haven't we?
yeah.
Yeah, Mary first, Mary second, William married to William. Yes, we've had quite a lot, and our last queen was Elizabeth. Okay, not necessarily with massive amount of power, but they still had influence, which is not quite the same thing. Okay, and actually, Elizabeth I certainly had more power than Elizabeth II. Why hasn't the Queen? Why haven't our kings or queens got much power? Who do they? Lucy?
Because Parliament has it now.
Because of Parliament, exactly. Yes, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to start with the very interesting introduction by Philippa Gregory. I bet you didn't know that the first history of England was written in the year 731, written by a man, a priest, who had lived since he was 7 years old in a men-only monastery. Sounds like Bede, doesn't it? Yes. In the centuries after him, other men wrote history books, but history was not taught as a subject at university until 1872, with men historians teaching only men students. No women students were allowed to graduate from the University of Oxford until 1920 and Cambridge until 1948. Some universities, like London, allowed them a bit earlier, but not necessarily the ones that you're most familiar with. Anyway, when women finally got to study history, they discovered there are no women in history. In the books and papers they found in the university libraries, there were hardly any women at all. No artists, composers, scientists, soldiers, heroines, mathematicians, and sailors. Now, why might that be?
It's written.
Dear?
Because they weren't allowed to.
They weren't allowed to do what?
Oh, to be all of these things.
Oh no, not necessarily. Annabelle?
Because the books were written by men.
Because the books are written by men. There's a very famous scene in Persuasion by Jane Austen where there's a discussion between, do you remember this? Between the heroine, Anne, and one of the men, who's a sailor, and they're discussing how long love lasts. And he says, "Oh no, women, it doesn't last at all with them." And she says, "No, you're wrong." He says, "But all the texts are against you." And she says, "All the texts are written by men. Everything that was read in Jane Austen's time, nothing historical anyway, was written by men. Women were confined to diaries, fiction, letters." Really important, because that's part of history too. Okay, so one of our most famous history books, Winston Churchill. Have you heard of Winston Churchill, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is he? Was he?
Prime Minister.
When?
During the
Prime
war.
Minister of UK
During the war.
during World War II. Yes, exactly. And after that as well. Winston Churchill, A History of the English-Speaking People, starting in 55 BCE and ending in 1902, because that's when he wrote it. There are 1,413 named men and just 98 named women, and most of them are the mothers of famous men. Right, who is completely and utterly shocked by this and appalled? Hands up. You don't seem terribly
Well,
shocked.
we should be, but I can understand why you also got your hand down.
Because we know this, don't we? Okay. So, this book is a new sort of history, a book about normal women stretching over 9 centuries from 1066. She read the great histories, and then she went out and she found all sorts of other things. So, letters, diaries. She worked really hard to do this. Newspaper articles, journals, which started pretty much in the 18th century. And there were lots of people, according to her, who were doing lots of different things. And it's a really good read. So that's my introduction to Philippa Gregory. We're going to come back to her in a little while. Would you like to talk about flesh now?
I shall talk about flesh now. Okay, so we've hinted at this often enough. Now it's time to tell you more about what this book is actually about. Okay, so the main character is Istvan. He lives in Hungary. 15 years old. He lives alone with his mother, and essentially it's the story of his life. Childhood in Hungary. He eventually comes over to this country, and in the same way that we're talking normal women here, we're talking about normal men. I suppose you could say we're talking about lives of everyday men, not like all the ones we're reading about in the news. And yes, it is still predominantly men who are making the headlines in the news. Mm-hmm. Make of that what you will. But this is about normal men. And of course, I've mentioned this before, it's about the expectations of normal men. And another phrase for that is, of course, toxic masculinity. And the character here, Istvan, he does embody, sad to say, those tropes, okay, to quite a large extent. Now, I'm going to read you a passage from it. And when I finish it, I'm just going to see if you can spot what it might remind you of, something that's very big in other media and very, very popular. Okay, so I'll give you a bit of context first. So this is very early on in the book, and essentially he starts seeing, rather inappropriately, an older woman who lives in his apartment. Okay, same block of flats. Okay, and he sort of goes looking for her because he's become a bit obsessed with her. She's trying to, she didn't lead him on initially, but she's trying to give him the brush off now. And he goes looking for her, and he actually bumps into the husband of this woman.
So she is married then?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I did not realise this.
And I can't remember how old she is, but anyway, yeah, shock horror. Look at your scandalised faces, right? Okay.
Who looked at this one for the Booker Prize? Who had this one? Yeah.
Right, okay, well,
do you remember this bit then? Do you remember?
Did you, I don't think they'd read the...
No, you wouldn't
I'm not
have
sure what you would
read
have read, but...
You didn't pick up that she was married?
I mean, I don't think it
Okay,
was fine.
well, it doesn't matter.
So,
No,
anyway, here we go. He has
shocking.
to knock on the door for quite a long time. Finally, her husband opens the door. "What is it?" he says. "Is she there?" Istvan asks him. "What? Is she there? What are you talking about?" her husband says. "Is she?" "No," her husband says, already shutting the door. Instinctively, Istvan pushes it open again. Her husband puts out a hand to stop him. "What do you think you're doing?" he says. Sure that she is there, and her husband just wants to prevent him from seeing her, Istvan tries to push past him into the flat. Her husband tries to stop him. There's a scuffle on the landing. Mostly it's just pushing and shoving. And then her husband falls down the stairs. He tries to hold on to the metal handrail, but he isn't able to, and there's a strange, loud sound as his head hits it further down. And then he's lying on the concrete floor of the half landing next to his wife's plants, and he doesn't get up. Istvan waits for him to get up. It's very quiet suddenly. He hears voices from somewhere down in a stairwell. When it's obvious that the man isn't going to get up, Istvan starts to walk down the stairs. His legs are shaking under him. They're shaking so much that it's almost difficult to walk. He passes the landing where the man is lying and where a few of his wife's plants have been knocked over, spilling soil onto the concrete, and keeps going down. On the floor below, the doors of the flats are open and some people are standing there. He passes them without saying anything, and they don't say anything to him. It may be that they think he has nothing to do with what happened, whatever it was. They heard something, shouts, and maybe the loud noise when the man's head hit the metal handrail. They're looking at the stairwell as if they're wondering what happened. He walks past them down the stairs and out into the warm evening. It's still quite light outside. He walks away. He doesn't know where he's going. He just keeps walking. Now, does that remind anyone, I heavily hinted at it, but does that remind anyone of a certain TV show that was very, very popular last year, was generating loads and loads of headlines? If you're of a certain age, you probably shouldn't have watched it. Esther?
Adolescence.
Yes. What happens in adolescence? What do you think I'm alluding to with adolescence?
Well, shall I tell them? So it's about a teenage boy and he kills a female classmate, and it's about the police investigation and the family and what happens after.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. And it's really good.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit too old for somebody, but it is really good. It's really good. And now, obviously, in this case, as this hopefully apparent, that's manslaughter. He didn't mean to kill him, but he did go there with. It's kind of similar to, I think it's Owen. Is that his name? I can't remember the name of the boy in adolescence, but he felt like, I deserve this. He asserting his masculinity. I deserve this too. So he goes and confronts. I deserve this woman. Why did she give me the brush off? I want her. And this is a kind of classic toxic masculinity trait. Now, unlike adolescence, that's not really the main plot. That's just the beginning, because it is his life story.
That's the catalyst,
In some ways,
to make
yes.
him leave home? Or
I believe, in a way, not directly.
not
but
directly,
yes.
okay.
Well, basically, he goes to join the army once he gets released from prison.
Ah,
spoilers,
right.
he goes to prison, by the way. He doesn't get away with it.
You! I thought he got away with it.
No.
I was convinced.
Yeah,
Right, well, that's
yeah.
a good
Imagine the
that's
man
So
choice.
hopefully a bit of a relief. I'll answer your question in a second. Hopefully a bit of a relief for him. But yeah, he joins the army and then he eventually ends up in England. And I don't want to go into it too much, but it's about his life, and he does exhibit more. Now, I don't know if you gathered from the way I was reading that, but it's written in a very sort of terse, direct, detached style, and that's quite deliberate because men, we're traditionally we're not renowned for being in touch with our feelings very well, and it exemplifies it very well. Right, Ali, you had a question.
So does the husband know that his wife was seeing?
At the time of that scene, no.
But then, why is he so chill about this
This guy,
random boy coming in and trying to see his wife?
he's kind of trying to force his way in. I don't know if you remember,
He's not really, but he's. I think there's quite an age gap, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Yes, there's quite an age gap between the husband and the boy, and so he's without going. I think he's trying to do his best to say, well, you can't be here. I think because he doesn't. I think the writer doesn't want to go into too much detail, so we don't have necessarily. It's just undetailed, push and shove, and then there they are, and it all goes wrong.
Because again, just to repeat what I said, this is not the main. And adolescence, that is the whole crux of the whole story. This is not, believe it or not, it's just the beginning of his life. Because he gets involved in so many other things, but it's all about his.
But it's a good question.
It's a very good question, and I see we have two more. Dia first.
Does the husband die? And because you said that. Oh, okay.
He does.
But then how does you said that he not in this bit? So does he I don't know. You said from the way that you said it, it sounded like he survived and then
No, he died. He died.
Oh.
And then Istvan does go to prison. They catch him.
They do catch him.
And then things fall into place after that. And
how old is the boy?
15.
Okay.
But only in this
Only
part
in this
of the
bit.
book, because then it's his later life as well. So anyway, to return to the main point, it's very much okay. Is it healthy that he's asserting these attitudes? Because, and as Miss Huntley said, it has generated a lot of headlines in media. It's probably the most talked about Booker Prize winner since the joint winners of Girl, Woman, Other and The Testaments back in 2019. And here I've actually printed out an article here. Now I'm going to read a few snippets myself. I want to see what you think of it. All right. So it says here, in a year when the idea of literary masculinity and its apparent scarcity is featured so prominently, Istvan as protagonist exhibits toxic male behaviour, and the author, Szalay, says there's no longer a sense that boys will be boys. Istvan goes to a younger offender facility. I'm giving you more spoilers now because of an act of violence, which I just read. Then joins the army. He works security on the door of a strip club before becoming a driver and security guard. These aren't exclusively male paths, said book judge and novelist Chris Power, but they are predominantly male or traditionally male. Some have questioned whether male novelists and male themes are terminally out of fashion. And I'll just skip ahead about the book of shortlist in general. The other novels on the list by male writers were loosely tied together by the themes of infidelity and men being led by lust, which both loom over Flesh. Istvan is seen as primarily a person struggling to come to terms with status anxiety and the financial precarity, I'm always worried I'm not going to have enough money to survive, that many younger people are facing. Any immediate response to what's being said there? Do we agree with it? What do we think? Do we think that, I'll repeat some of the things I just read, the idea of literary masculinity is scarce. There's not many books being written about it. What do we think? Stella?
I feel like many male books sort of try to be inclusive, but it kind of feels forced.
Okay.
It's kind of similar to like having an LGBTQ plus character in a book that doesn't provide anything to the story. It's just there,
That's sort of like a tokenistic gesture.
Yeah,
Almost.
it's kind of just like there for inclusivity and to like add some more to the book, but doesn't actually provide any value to the book. It's kind of just like a standalone.
Okay, but do you think, I'll come to you guys in a second, do you think that about what you're saying, there's a scarcity of like male-centred narratives? Do you think that's true?
No.
No. Okay. Esther?
I reckon it's a perception, because I think historically books have, lots of things have been very male-centred, and I think it's a perception that now that there's more female-centred stories, it feels like there's not enough men, but in reality it's evening out.
I tend to agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you heard of the expression, if you are used to a position of privilege, equality can seem like oppression?
Yeah.
I think that's, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Dear?
When there's in a book, they might hint at toxic masculinity, but it's probably not the main feature in the book, so people just probably miss it.
I mean,
What about masculinity, though?
Yeah, we're
rather
talking more
than
broadly.
toxic?
We're not talking about Flesh.
Yeah, we're not talking about
Flesh specifically.
books that have a male protagonist, for example. Is there a lack of them?
No, I agree with Esther.
Okay, all in agreement. Anyone disagree, by any chance? No, hands went down immediately.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
No matter. You like.
Sure?
Yeah.
All right,
Alright.
Lexi?
So this is kind of random, but any books my dad would read. This is also very kind of random, but
It's not random, it's your
yeah,
experience,
they
so it's
Absolutely.
fine.
So
Yeah.
any books my dad would read that are about men, which are kind of mainly the books he reads because he's not a very emotional person. But that is random. So anyway,
How many minutes are we in? You might have to censor this, Lexi, but for you to spare your dad's feelings. Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Flynn.
he reads books mostly about history. If it's the centre of a male book, then it would probably be a very historic figure.
So fiction or non-fiction?
Well, right now he's reading a book about John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
Yes, I went through that phase too. Yes.
Yeah, and it's about it is a fiction book, but based on
Oh, is it?
fiction.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about if you could kind of turn back time.
We're
Is
wondering
it the one? Well, no, anyway, we're talking about.
Yeah.
I was
I was
asking
just
at
going
the
to say, we're
time.
wondering on top, but there's been lots of
Yes.
things like that with the
Yes.
JFK alternatives. Right,
Annabelle.
Annabelle, and then we'll move on.
I
Annabelle?
think that lots of books that are historical, sometimes people say that there are a lot of books about female people because the ones that were stood out, and lots more people maybe nowadays would read them because they stand out more and they're kind of more well known sometimes. And I think that's kind of when people give opinions about how much genders are really focused on in literature, you can never really know because it's the amount you read. you only read the stuff that's been made public.
Well, yes, what's made public, but also you go with what you enjoy, don't you?
Yeah.
If you walk into a bookshop, it's what's on the tables. You might not get beyond the tables, whichever bookshop it is. I hope it's an independent one rather than,
We recommend Regency Bookshop.
Regency, Waterstones is independent as well. And also what you all like reading. So we've got a lot of people here who enjoy murder mysteries, don't they? Yes?
Don't forget about who's coming on World Book Day.
Yeah.
Sorry to wander off topic.
So, for example, a lot of your detectives are female detectives because when they were written. But suppose you're reading detective novels written in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, like Agatha Christie, Dorothy Sayers. You've got a male detective. Okay, they change their minds. There are, later on there are female detectives as well. And also, if you're the thriller genre, who's the main protagonist in the thriller and spy genres? Male or female? Men. Yeah. You see, it's not thinking through all genres. Okay.
Sorry, I think we need to move on. Yeah, go on then.
Yeah,
go on.
dear.
I don't know if you'll
As
know
ever,
this, but Agatha Christie, I think her main focus was the Poirot books, or just her.
I think it's just become.
I think it's our perception.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
But 7 Dials.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that written before Poirot or?
It's written alongside Poirot.
Okay.
Okay, because Poirot, her writing goes right from First World War period right up until the 1970s, which is when she died. She was unbelievable. You can't believe how prolific she was. So she got fed up with Poirot at times, but she was also, I'm not saying it wasn't a struggle, but she's very quick. She thought of things very easily, and then she just sat down and wrote it. And so she could perhaps even juggle things at the same time, because like the 7 Dials mystery, there are other. Murder is Easy, that's got a male protagonist, but it's got nothing to do with Miss Marple or Poirot or Tommy and Tuppence, who are her other married detectives. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We all think of different things all the time, don't we? We don't necessarily write them down, but Christie certainly did, and that's our game. Yes, that answered the
Yes.
Good.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about. Was there anything else you want to say before we move on to activity?
I think I want to say I'm going to read a little bit more from Normal Women, okay? Because I don't want to get stuck with toxic masculinity. So, now there's a perception, isn't there, that poor women have to work and rich women don't. Is that right? Yes? Yes?
Agree.
In history. In history. That rich women just sat around all day on their couch or their sofa and had their babies and were looked after by the servants. Is that correct? Yeah. Yeah? Okay, here's a story. I'm picking Elizabeth, 1485 to 1660. I'm picking Elizabeth's period because you are all familiar with Queen Elizabeth, the Tudor period. Yes? Okay, so you have this perception that rich women sit around all day having a lovely time. Yes? I think we all do. And wouldn't we all like that in lots of ways? Normal women all work. The royal court of a reigning queen had more paying jobs for ladies than the old king's court. So in other words, that's before her father and her grandfather and her distant cousin, Richard III. Elizabeth had 16 paid workers in her privy chamber, her private rooms. Now imagine you've got a suite of rooms and you've got 16 servants, 16 ladies sharing it with you. Okay, how many have we got here today?
Probably about that.
About that?
6, 7, 8. Well, maybe more like
14.
14.
Those
Okay,
two.
all right. So you are all now going to be my servants, okay, and cater
look
to
at
my
those faces.
every need. Nice. Another 6 women working unpaid. That means they must be or
Someone said it.
Slaves.
no, not slaves. No. it would be her. Well, they could be friends, but also they'd be rich women. They would be the ladies in waiting. And even our Queen today has ladies in waiting. We don't call them that anymore, but yes. Okay? So yes, a close friend. Unpaid to keep her linens, clothes and jewels clean and safe, help her to dress, serve food and nurse her during illness. So the really intimate tasks, okay? Do not worry, we're not going down that road, okay? You can bring me another cup of tea, somebody. One woman usually slept with the Queen. No, I'm joking.
We're kidding.
One woman usually slept with the Queen as her bedfellow. Now this was quite normal, even right up until, with the Queens anyway, up until Victoria's time. Okay. The constantly changing crowd of unpaid young maids of honour and ladies in waiting served as companions, dancers, entertainment, and made a pretty background for the star, the Queen. So they had quite a good time, really. Yes? Okay. Music, dancing, talking, needlework together, okay? But everything obviously revolved around the Queen, like a beehive. In the country, the ladies of the manor ran the great houses, farms, mines, shipping and other businesses, while their husbands were at the royal court or at war. Widows often managed estates for their sons, as most noblemen, this is still, men tended to die long before women did. 69% died before their wives. So, do you still think that women don't work? Rich women don't work? No, they did. And one of the most famous people is Elizabeth Bess of Hardwicke. And she was not born into the top of the trees, in other words, the aristocracy. She was pretty much middle class, like we all are here. But she married really well. She made 4 brilliant marriages, and it's Bess, Elizabeth Shrewsbury, who she created a very famous house called Hardwicke Hall, and she also was responsible for the ancient inside of Chatsworth, both in Derbyshire, not far from each other. And she ran the huge estate, which included the mines, shipbuilding, glassmaking industries, while her husband served the Queen. And also, it was her family that had to look after Mary Queen of Scots when she ran away to England and was imprisoned by the English. It cost them a great deal of money, and it probably broke up the Shrewsbury's marriage as well. So there were, and even though she became very, very powerful, she started out normal, and the normal women worked around the Queen. They worked, and they used everything they had to help the Queen, and also obviously their other themselves as well. Okay. Right. So,
All right. So
there's a counterpart to toxic
right.
masculinity.
Yes, indeed, and a much needed one. Right. So you're going to do a little thing on your tables now, and I'm going to give you about 10 minutes, I think. So you can read the full instructions yourselves, and I'm going to read them to camera while I get you underway. But essentially, in a nutshell, are you two going? Okay, on the remaining 3 tables, you're going to get 2 very well-known characters, one of whom exemplifies stereotypically feminine traits, and one who exemplifies stereotypically toxic masculine traits. Okay, I've given you brief bios. I'm hoping you will know at least something about these characters. If not, you can go get your iPads, because I don't think you brought them down with you to find out a bit more about them.
One of them is about to appear in a film.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Now I give you a hint. Also, I'm going to give you an A4 piece of paper. And what I want you to do is, the instructions are on here, but just add some bio notes, and then there's 3 questions to answer. Okay, and then we're going to get back and see what your thoughts all are. Okay, all clear?
All right.
Right, okay. So you might want to get your iPads, especially if you're not familiar with the characters.
Twilight.
Like you said ads for that.
Oh yeah, pen as well, by the way, sorry. Pen.
Oh, Wuthering Heights! It's ads with Jacob.
I'm just going to tell the camera what they're doing.
Bella is an ordinary
You sit in the
schoolgirl.
chair.
I'll sit in the chair.
You sit in the chair.
I'll sit in the chair. I think I'll probably
Plus
once
a
I've
werewolf.
done
Jacob took.
Yes.
it again.
Many.
Right, okay, camera. I'm just going to read to you, people at home, what they're doing. So I'm giving them 2 character profiles. We've got, as the female character, Bella Swan from Twilight. And this is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek, truncated autobiography here. Bella is an ordinary schoolgirl who's in love with a vampire. Edward, plus her werewolf Jacob to a degree, many years older than her. She is passive, insecure, and when she's not with a man, spends every minute of her life pining for them. And then, our other main character is Heathcliff, Miss Huntley's favourite character, from one of her favourite books, Wuthering Heights. Heathcliff is a brooding, violent and bad-tempered man. He is in love with Cathy. When he doesn't get her, he embarks on a sadistic scheme to not only torment and ultimately destroy those who wronged him, but their innocent children as well. Those are their bios. And essentially what they've been asked to do, add to the note to birth through a combination of what you know, but also do some online research on your iPads, on an A4 piece of paper. And then the 3 questions they've been asked is, what assumptions might readers make about these characters, based on typical feminine and masculine stereotypes? What pressures might this character face, and how could they resist or grow beyond them? And lastly, how could, this is the most important one, how could we rewrite them to be more realistic, interesting, or empowered? So that's what they're doing. So we're going to stop filming, and then when we return... So there you go, I told you I certainly love it. So we're going to stop filming, and when you rejoin us, we will be hearing the group's thoughts. Okay, see you soon. Okay, welcome back. Let's go.
So, for the first question of what assumptions the readers might have, for Bella Swan, they could have thought like she can't provide for herself because she prioritizes her relationship over like everything else, and she has an intense fixation on Edward.
She does indeed.
Yeah, and
Keep going.
she can't be without him, following on to that intense fixation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot about Edward in the descriptions we found. And it was all like Edward.
Oh, you found some descriptions, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
And that's all we kind of got so far.
Okay, what about Heathcliff? What you said about?
Heathcliff, for the stereotypes, do you want to do that one?
Okay, so he's very ruthless and violent, and he kind of does things without thinking much. And we didn't really get much of what pressures he could face.
Okay, yeah, if you're not familiar, that's a difficult
Yeah.
one to answer. So do you want to skip ahead to number 3 then? Question 3 about how can we make them more... How can we make Bella more interesting?
Realistic.
I think more realistic.
Less of a general obsession.
Yes, maybe less dependent.
I should get a job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
a job.
yeah. And in all the descriptions we found of her, there was always a mention of Edward. So maybe get him out of her life a bit,
Yeah.
just a bit.
That's fantastic. Yeah. We should do that again.
What?
Anyway,
No,
sorry,
no.
let's carry on.
Um,
And what about Heathcliff?
do you want to do Heathcliff? No. Okay. I think no.
No.
Maybe a bit more interesting. He could have like 2 sides to him. Maybe one he's very mean, and the other side he's actually quite nice. I don't know.
Instead of being
Genuinely
like...
nice, rather than in a sort of deceptive way.
Yeah.
All right, we'll hear what everybody else says.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done, especially as you weren't familiar. So we're now going to go to this back table. So if you could also share your thoughts, please.
Well, we thought for Bella that quite a lot of the assumptions could be she's quite submissive and dependent on Edward. In the books and the movies, she goes into like a huge state of depression when he leaves, and that kind of just doesn't reflect like the values of being a woman in this day and age. Like, people would not be very like fond of you if you come on, like your best friend is crying over a man like she'd only known for like 2 months, and you're just like, girl, get over it. And she's just like, oh my gosh, she was the best. That's kind of just like, if a woman does that nowadays, you look at her like, where did the world go wrong with you?
Bella's not holding back, is she?
and like you're meant. It's sort of like respected now. If you're a girl that like gets back on her feet, even though she's like had a harsh, like even though she had like a brutal breakup, if she has her moment but then gets back on her feet, like it's respected. Like people could practically salute at you. It's like a noble thing. And then in this book, she's kind of just like she gets over it, and then Edward returns. It's kind of like completely diminishes the point of like Bella wanting to be an independent woman. Like she does state like she does want to like set on her own 2 feet, and she has a lot of arguments with her dad about that.
Okay, right. Moving on to Heathcliff then.
Well, I don't actually know Heathcliff at all. The only like correlation is the fact that he like is played by Jacob Elordi, I think.
So you looked at the film then.
I looked at the advert.
Okay.
And like my friends are anime lovers, and they use this expression yandere, which is basically like if I can't have you, no one can. And he's
that's him defined, really.
That's obsessive, like.
And he's very he's very like hell bent on getting this girl, and when he doesn't, like he looks people's lives like on the brink of like, and like not even that, but like he also puts children on that. And it's not just about him, it's also about the person who wrote him like that. Like, unless this book was very, very old, is it?
Well, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That probably explains why, like, there's, like,
Also,
severe
it's
toxic
coming out of
masculinity.
a particular genre. It's coming out of the Gothic genre, so it's
Well,
fantasy.
Okay, well, maybe he needs to fantasize a bit more. In fact, he's not going to get that.
Right, just because we're running out of time, could you skip ahead to number 3 again? So, how can we make both of the characters a bit more interesting, or relatable, or realistic?
Well, maybe give Bella some like actual teenage traits that isn't just like hellbent on men. Like she could have a passion. Like she's really keen on like supernatural stuff, and that's why she's so drawn to Edward, because she's just like, oh my gosh, my life has fully started now.
It's like she can't be herself without Edward being there. Like
so give her some.
she seems
some
so like
independence.
boring. She has nothing to do.
Yeah, Edward. If Edward is in trouble, have her lead the other vampires to go save him, and don't have her like freaking out, just like, oh no, oh gosh, my daughter and I now are single ladies now. Let's play Beyonce.
Okay, very good. And what about Heathcliff? How can we improve Heathcliff?
Give him a therapist number.
Okay, I don't think therapists were a thing then. Okay, so this is like 1840s. So, I mean, I'm not supposed to be an 1840s expert, but what could, even in the 1840s, be done to make him a bit better?
Well,
Help him.
first of all, like he needs to like pause a bit, actually think, because like from this it sounds like Kathy said no, and he went on like a full on like I'm gonna burn the world, but not, and like give him like same thing for girls. Get over the lady, get over the girl. Like go on, but like don't burn the world and torment children. Like
He's over the obsession. He's over the fixation.
yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah, like.
Okay, yeah.
Calm
Yeah.
down.
All right, excellent stuff. Well done. Thank you. Round of applause. And last but not least, let's put the camera over here for you guys. Okay,
Do you guys
so
want to do the first couple of questions and I'll do the...
what do we think?
We're on 5, guys, so if you do need to go, do tell
Oh
me.
yes, please do. Please do go if you need to. But
I can do this.
All right, Dia or Lucy, are you reading?
come on, guys, it's gone 5. We need to.
Okay.
Right, let's go.
So, for Bella, people might, well, like damsel in distress.
Yeah,
For
which is
her.
definitely a stereotype. Yeah. Anything else?
And she's a bit like love obsessed.
Yes. Which is another stereotypically feminine thing.
Yeah.
And what stereotypical things are there at
And
Heathcliff?
also,
Oh, sorry.
like-
I thought you finished.
for Bella, one more thing, she's quite dependent on Edward, which is also a thing that some people might think that like stereotypically. But then for Edward, I think he might. Sorry, for
Heathcliff.
Heathcliff, like controlling
Mm-hmm.
because
Yes, hugely.
and probably thinks that he's the centre of the world and everything revolves around him. So
Ego.
yeah, if he can't have
Egoist.
something,
Do we think that's a stereotypically masculine trait to have a big ego?
The fragile one.
stereotypically.
Fragile ego.
Fragile.
Okay, men and fragile egos. As a man, I'll say nothing. And
Not
again,
all men, obviously.
and in the interest of time, sorry, again, skip ahead to number 3 again, please. So what do we think to make them more interesting characters?
Make them more interesting, realistic, empowered. We thought Bella, she probably should have. I think for both characters, they are really obsessed with like one person. I think for Bella, she needs to have a life outside of Edward. She needs friends desperately, like friends who aren't the Cullens or Jacob, like to bring her down to earth. Yeah, because you need your friends to tell you when like things are getting a bit ridiculous. And some interests, some hobbies, like just be like a normal teenager. And then Heathcliff, also very obsessed and like just like calm down a little bit. Yeah, move on. Both of them need to move on.
A lot of overlaps, I think.
Funny thing is, Heathcliff did go away for a while.
Yeah.
There's quite a gap where he's not around, and Kathy marries somebody else. Trouble is, he comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Kathy's
and everything
Margot
goes
Robbie,
south.
right?
Also for Bella.
Kathy's Margot Robbie, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Also-
Talking of the film, yes, that's right.
And also for Bella, I think, from what I've heard, Edward breaks up with her and then leaves and then comes back after a while. When he comes back, she shouldn't accept it. She should be like, no way, you left me. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
I feel she accepts a lot of bad treatment from like a lot of her characters.
Yeah. Like, he deserved a smack in the face, not just someone.
Stella's not mincing her words.
Again, we've got two Gothic genres, so obsessive love is part of that genre. But of course, it's also that Byron says man is love is for man. This is famous poet. He says love is for women a thing apart. Sorry, love is for men a thing apart. In other words, they are capable of compartmentalising. For women, it is their whole existence, because men are brought up to think that, brought up to think that as well.
To a degree, I would argue.
And the sorts of novels and writings that were available to women for a lot of the history were love is everything. Love is everything, even though in reality, of course, it isn't. It's the fantastical. Nowadays, we're really, really lucky to have very, very different role models in our fiction.
Yes.
However, I will say this, that Charlotte, Emily Bronte is who wrote Wuthering Heights. Now the new film, and this is one of many that have been made. Charlotte wrote Jane Eyre, Anne Bronte wrote Tenet of Wildfell Hall. They didn't sit around. They sat at their desks and they wrote this fiction out of obsession, but also to make money.
It was the brother who was the mess up
Yeah,
of the family.
it was, interestingly.
So,
Yeah.
So there's something to take away.
So there is something to take away.
And
Wuthering Heights provided
Yeah.
an income, even if these days we read it as, the controlling.
But the main thing to take away is, please don't choose characters like that as your role models.
Yes.
Have more well-rounded characters. And as
Yeah.
Miss Henley said, thankfully, yes, we do have better examples of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we better wrap it up there. So thank you, great stuff today, guys.
Well done.
So
Well done.
if
Give
we
yourselves a clap.
Yeah, give yourselves a clap.
Nice,
And
really
as
nice
has
ideas.
become tradition.
Say bye.
Bye. Bye.